How we doing, guys? We ready to roll? I mean, I got to tell you, what an unbelievable run by our hoop squad and personal note, just the opportunity to be at the Garden yesterday. As a kid growing up, two venues, always wanted to be in, the Rose Bowl and then being able to go see the Garden and fulfilling that childhood dream, man. I could have stayed in there forever. Just looking on the concourse of all the things that's wow. And, to think at one event, I looked up there and it actually not even sporting event, but just a couple of things. You think John Lennon's last concert in 1974 occurred in that Garden, and then to have Paul McCartney, so you had two of the four sitting there. When you think about that piece of it, and one that kind of was interesting. They had a triple header. They had the date up there. It's a high school basketball championship, and the Knicks played, and the top bill was the debut of the Harlem Globetrotters in that building in a one-day event. I mean, wow, it's just amazing. But this is obviously leading up to a huge week for us with a lot of things going on as we kind of head down the back stretch of spring practice. Kind of recapping Friday's half scrimmage. There were some really, really good performances and some things that stood out, both good and bad, and yet it was the first time I'd kind of seen them, fight through. They played hard throughout the scrimmage. I thought some guys that showed up, defensively. I thought Jabari Zaninga is a guy that is really taking that next step. We all saw flashes of it a year ago, but I think he's turning into a dominant force, on that defensive front, along with other guys. But I think he's a guy that's just kind of stood out a little bit as we go. Kylan Johnson really got after it in this last scrimmage, did some really good things. It was good to see Chauncey is playing real well. He got beat on a really good throw and a really good catch Tyree made on him, but to bounce right back, he got a pick. Really did a couple good things secondary wise. The consistency of those safeties has been really good, working together, and I thought Duke is doing a really good job and really is comfortable back at corner. So that's been good. Offensively, both quarterbacks had some real explosive throws, and yet I think our sense of urgency needs to pick up a little bit at that position. Got sloppy with the ball down in the red area a couple times, but we got to learn from those things and understand the importance of what we need to do down there. However, our production was actually pretty good in comparisons to the past. So that's a good thing. Had some drops, uncharacteristic. I thought the receivers had in drops in big situations. Some third down deals that we needed to do, and again down in the red area. So we've got to pick that piece up a little bit. That offensive line, the guys on the inside. I mean, our tackles are playing good. Don't get me wrong at all. I'm happy with that. The expectation is there, and they're playing up to it. But I think we're developing. Tyler Jordan is. This was the first time I've seen him really engage and play throughout with a fire. TJ was good. Brett Hagee is doing a really good job along with Buchanan. And I thought Fred took some big strides both at guard and tackle, so that's a good thing. I was happy to see that. But, this week, again, we're going to finish with a Friday with a full scrimmage. We've got to work some situational things and start to work in on some opponent periods as we're moving forward this week. There's a lot of things going on. Obviously, tomorrow's pro day, which I'm really excited for our guys, to go get in front of those scouts again for some of them, and first time for others, and have an opportunity, to put on a good show for that. There'll be tons of people here, and everything from NFL executives to head coaches to coordinators, obviously position coaches and scouts. It's a great opportunity for us to show off what the University of Florida is all about, and excited to have them in town, and more importantly, excited for them to look at this year's crop. We're going to give them a up close look at also, as well as the draft eligible guys now, but obviously the ones that for the following year, and even the third year guys, they can get an early jump on evaluation and getting to meet and get to be around those guys. I think it's an opportunity for those guys coming up to really get the evaluation piece earlier, and not have to, oh shoot, this guy's coming out, let me try to get a quick grade on him. Let's start that moving forward. So that'll be good, and that's how we'll start off tomorrow's Tuesday, is with those guys getting in front of all the guys that are here. So update wise, injuries, really nothing new in or out. I think that was a good thing, because they got after it pretty good. We had a couple guys that, got that, they get kind of, this hit, and then lay there and flop around on the ground for a while. And they got to understand that's just not how you do business. And there was 2 occasions there, get your tail up and get back in there, or get yourself to the sideline. But I always think sometimes they do that so they get airtime, on TV. As I explained to them, there is no TV here. Get your tail up and go. So, but other than that, it was physical. We had a physical week. I thought they bounced back on Saturday really good when we did some install situation stuff as far as different work that way. I was a little nervous going into it, coming off of that, going on Saturday. We had a lot of really good players here from a recruiting standpoint. They had an opportunity to get out on the field and actually, watch the guys in drill work, and I thought that we did a good job with that. So, anyway, questions?
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the second.
You know what? I got to stop right there. I'm wondering, should we name your partner? Because I don't know if it's Edgar or his partner. I think that's something we ought to do. Can you guys maybe put out there what we should name Edgar's partner?
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
No, I like that, a little Twitter poll. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
You mentioned Duke and Chauncey, but just in terms of the secondary, have you had a situation where you've lost 3 such good players, all potential top 100 draft picks at one position, and how do you kind of overcome that?
Yeah, and I don't think there's been a lot of programs in the country, for that matter, that has lost really that quality. Sure, you've lost those numbers, but when you're talking, the first round draft pick possibilities, I don't see that. And yet, I think one of the things we've done a pretty good job of the last 2 years is rotating guys in and getting them playing time, knowing that some guys are going to be leaving. That we've done a pretty good job of getting guys in the game. I think even the year before, with Vernon and Kiki, getting some of those other guys in, Quincy was in that rotation, and sure enough, then he's, had a great year the next year, and the same thing in the back end, obviously with Marcel, and then, through the injury, being able to get Chauncey some valuable reps back there as well. I think that's part of it is playing guys, knowing that, the way things are, the climate today, you've got to prepare yourself for, guys coming out after their third year, which if they're good enough and rated that high, they should. But to answer your question, it's hard to think losing that kind of talent. Those next guys got big shoes to fill.
And how does confidence play in that? And do you see these guys, seizing that opportunity?
Yeah, I think a lot of the confidence part comes from the legacy that has been built at the secondary position and the expectation, and those guys knowing that they're coming here, they've got shoes to fill, and there's a high expectation of how to play, and yet they embrace that, knowing that they're part of a pretty special fraternity.
We had asked Coach Ness about this 2 weeks ago. It's the first time I think he's had 3 years in the same system since maybe back at Alabama. What have you seen from the team going into your third year, just as far as being able to have players familiar with the playbook, maybe less swimming going on when you're doing install, stuff like that? What's the difference between last year, this time, and this year?
Well, I think, first part is we've not only got players coming back who have played, but good players coming back who have played. And, that obviously helps. And then the continuity and understanding of the things that we're trying to get accomplished. And when you are installing new stuff, changes, wrinkles, whatever you want to call it, there's that base that's already there, and now you can add to it from, moving forward, and I think that's been really good.
I don't know this, but maybe I should. When did you do the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, we played there when we played Texas for the national title my second year at Alabama. So being able to, like I said, I mean, those are just like my wife said when I walked in the other day, and she, when we got to go to Alabama or go to the Rose Bowl, she knew something was different because I was like walking on cloud nine.
Secondly, do you know which juniors are going to work out tomorrow?
Well, there won't be. What we'll do is get them in front, and be able to get all the prelim stuff done as far as the workout piece. They haven't prepared for, you get one opportunity to put that mark on the board, and I don't think that they're ready for that. But we're definitely putting them in front of them, letting them get as much, the prelim stuff as they can done.
Any names you can share?
Well, I'm doing it with all of them. I mean, I find it hard to sit here, they put that kind of thing is you can have 5 guys. Well, we got, 19, I think, or 21 of those that are all good players. So, I'm not going to just you can and you can't. That's ridiculous. So.
Jim, who do you see kind of figuring into the competition at nickel who could play in that spot, and might there be an opportunity for some of those freshmen to come in there as well?
Well, here's the good thing there is I think we've developed 2 guys from a nickel standpoint, obviously in Duke and Chauncey. Now, with that being said, our ability with Moon and KC to play kind of that hybrid piece in some of our packages that you would consider nickel, but they're actually linebackers. I think that gives us a lot of versatility in the different looks that we can do defensively. So, there's going to be an opportunity for those young guys that are coming in to see a lot of playing time, whether it be at the corner position, at the safety position or at that nickel spot. A lot of that has to do with their ability to kind of process, and we're going to find that out early.
And then you led me right into my next question. Second thing is on the linebacker. Two things. What could this be a year where we see more 3 linebackers on the field? And also, how's Tim Skipper done there so
Yeah,
far?
Skip's done great, and obviously it's a place he's comfortable with. He's been a defensive coordinator and coached linebackers, obviously, in the past. And you know, they haven't missed a beat, and that's a good thing. But that not having, because of some of the officials have done a really good job in holding for formation or for personnel adjustments, you know, as far as letting your defense get guys on the field, but getting caught in some of the unique formation things where a guy has the ability to play in space, meaning those linebackers, is something that it really helps.
Specifically, what did you see from Franks and then Trask on Saturday?
Yeah. They did a great job throwing the deep balls, and we missed some intermediate seam throws. I thought that was good by the defense in their disguise, and then what they rolled to, I think our pre-snap was good. I think our post-snap in some areas, we missed some seams, inside seams that we should have been able to hit. And then we came back and corrected on Saturday, and it was good, I think, to see them get it corrected, some of the things from there. But I was disappointed. We threw an interception in the red area that can't happen, absolutely not. And so we've got to learn from that. Good play by the defense, but obviously you can't do that and take away points, so we got to get better at that.
The other thing, running back, how are you approaching your philosophy last year? I know you were trying kind of the four-headed monster, so to speak. How are you looking at it? Did you learn some things from that? And are you maybe looking for a guy to step forward, maybe Jordan sees an opportunity or things like that?
Yeah, you know, we're looking for that, and yet we're going to need all of them. You only got so many hits in your body at that position, and, you know, really everywhere we've been, I mean, we've kind of done that as far as being able to get guys in there and guys go in and produce when their number's called.
Talking about red zone, that's something that Coach Nessmeyer also talked about, is you guys need to improve, especially after the numbers last year.
Yeah.
How much work have you done there, and what kind of held you guys back in the red zone?
Yeah, that's been obviously a point of emphasis for us, and specific drills which we've riverside and gone in and really focused more so on what needs to accomplish for you to be successful. And a lot of that has to do, you know, I think what we're doing up front. I've been real pleased with, you know, the production with that offensive line and understanding what we need to accomplish down there from that position to help us.
A couple of times this spring you mentioned Tyler Jordan and wanted to see more from him. You said you saw that. Is that troubling for someone who's going into their junior season, for you as a coach to have to say, you know, a couple times, I need to see more from him, even if it's just effort, need to see more?
No, his effort's been good. That isn't it. I'm not downplaying the effort. The aggressive nature at which you need to come off and not take a step backwards but a step forwards, you know, things like that. Not playing catch, but, you know, really being the aggressor, I guess, more than anything. He does a really good job assignment-wise. Like to see it like we saw in the scrimmage. I thought he took some real steps moving forward. No, that's okay. I just can't wait for this Twitter poll
No, I
to
can't
come out
either,
with.
actually. We're getting some suggestions already.
All right. This ought to be good.
forgive my ignorance, but how does it work?
You know, the disclaimer all the time. I just,
Don't,
yeah.
the recruiting nuances
No, I
I'm
got you.
unfamiliar with. How's it work with bringing kids on, having them come to practices? I know they have spring breaks, especially local guys.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys
How does that
coming through.
work?
Well, just, you know, it's, you know, you have these junior days or whatever they're called, and we just have days. I mean, whatever fits into your schedule. There isn't a specific time, but the thing that helped, I think, worked out for us this last weekend is because of the spring breaks, we were able to get a lot of really good players that were able to, you know, get in here. And even during the week, which was great. Our guys are doing a really good job, our coaches, as far as getting people to campus and seeing the things that we have going on. But what we did is actually put some individual periods in the practice where the positions, the players by positions, were able to actually get out there and see the players and coaches, you know, the coaches coach, the players go through it, you know, up close, not just sitting in the stands or sitting on the sideline. And I thought that worked out pretty well.
And how much does it help Corey Bell and Coach Sider, you know, their familiarity with the area and helping organize all this, I guess?
Well, I think in their cases, being aware of the young players because they've been recruiting those areas, even though it was at different spots, they knew, you know, the names. They obviously have taken to our needs and how we go about not only the player but the who the guys are as far as their makeup and the type of guys that we want, you know, to be Gators, and their familiarity with their areas, and then just okay, boom, oh yeah, that guy, come on, you know, I think that's big. It isn't like a whole learning curve.
You've mentioned Dre Massey a couple times this spring. Has he continued to progress, and do you guys still plan on drawing up some special packages for him post-injury?
Yeah, and Kadarius as well. You know, on that note, I think one of the guys that has really stood out as well is C.J. McWilliams as a secondary, you know, at corner, has really been doing a good job as well. You know, those guys that aren't able to go in all the drills, Dre's really showed up, as we knew he would. I mean, that was a big miss for us a year ago, you know, just what that guy gave us. But you know, just in mentioning some of the other guys, I think, again, CJ has done an outstanding job and is going to be a guy that's going to be able to help us.
Also, I know this is kind of an out-of-left-field question, but there's the disclaimer again. Do you feel like...
What, you know, and usually, you know, in Little League, they always put the guy who can't play in right field, right? No, but I mean Little League. You know, Little League is, hey, get in there, kid. Go stand out there. And you're batting ninth. Anyway, go ahead. Here, I'm still figuring out left field over here. Is that?
Maybe that's
That's a Twitter deal? Yeah.
The camera's left field.
That could be the big green monster right there if we just painted it, right? Go ahead.
do you feel like the word adversity has a tendency to be overused in the context of sports?
I don't. Yeah, that's for a whole. Look, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. There's some adversity that's come into your life, and to me, the key is how you handle adversity. And yet, you know, it's how do you handle failure, and are you willing to put yourself out there to fail? And yet understand that with that, what do you learn from it? So, you know, there's a lot of kids now with all this participation ribbon stuff that they get for just showing up, that I'm not sure they're really learning the lessons in life as far as picking yourself off the ground all the time. And yet, you know, adversity comes in a lot of different ways. anyway, it's something that you constantly work on and put programs in place as to how you handle adversity. And, usually the great ones handle it really well. And the ones that aren't so good and end up maybe quitting because they've never been taught how to handle adversity.
Thanks.
Pro Day is big for everyone. You guys sent, I think, only one school sent more guys to the combine than you guys did. But for players like Austin that didn't get to go to the combine, how important is this day for them?
No, and there's a lot of those guys that maybe don't get that one invite, but people are coming to see them here, and he's one of those guys. And he's been working really hard. He's been doing a lot of stuff, training-wise to put a good throw session together, and there'll be some guys that'll show up. I mean, Chris Thompson, he's a guy that I don't think anybody realizes how fast this guy is. What we did, kind of giving him an opportunity even in the secondary, late. I think that there's some things that he'll be able to show on both sides of the ball and in special teams. Mark Herndon is a guy that before he got hurt, with that knee, he was a guy that was really doing good stuff. And I don't think, guys can make squads because of their versatility, even on special teams. And this is an opportunity for some of those guys as well to really show what they can do. All right, guys. Appreciate it.